Namaste everyone, I'm Prasima Thapa from Nepal. I would like to thank Nidan, Atman, Month and team for this opportunity on this platform on Marathon Pan World 24-hour webinar for mental health today. So today, me as a psychologist and the speaker, Mr. Anjan Kumar Dhakal from Nepal will be discussing about psychosocial and mental health. I would like to welcome the speaker from Nepal, Mr. Dhakal, on the platform here. He is a PhD scholar. He is into developing the autism tools in Nepal. MPhil Clinical Psychology from Institute of Medicine, Teaching Hospital, Maharajganj, Nepal. He is running his own organization, Psychotherapy and Counseling Services Nepal, and he is into mental health services for more than 12 years. He is a trainer, academician, and has been working as consultant in different psychiatric hospitals. I'd like to again welcome Mr. Anjan Kumar Dhakal. Sir, welcome, and over to you now.
Thank you, Prishima, and thank you entire team for believing on my and trusting on me. So we are going to discuss about the psychosocial problem and mental health problem today. Basically, psychosocial. First of all, going to the psychosocial problem, I would like to clarify about the terminology of psychosocial. Generally, psychosocial has been made of two words. Psychology has been derived from the Greek word psyche, which means mind. And generally, our it is the aspect of our psychology or the internalizing part of an individual, which may include our one thought, our one perception, our one mind, our emotion, as well as our behavior. Similarly, it includes the attitude, value, belief system, norms of an individual. Whereas the social include for the interaction and relationship with others, as well as environment, culture, and traditional. Whereas it may also include the role and tasks given to us by the family or the society. So this is the composed of two words, psyche and social. These two composition of word make the psychosocial. So psychosocial can be defined from my viewpoint. It can be defined or it refer to the close connection between the psychological aspect of human experience as well as the wider social experience of an individual or the environmental experiences of an individual. So psychosocial problems means if there is the problem between those two connection between the individual self and the social surrounding, there the individual feel different kind of problem. For example, he may feel distress, he may feel frustrated, he may feel guilt or self blaming, or sometimes he may develop the inferiority complex, which bring him the which develop in the inferiority complex and incompetency with other individual. So this is called the psychosocial problems. That is the consequences of the connection between the individual and the environment. Negative consequences of between the individual and environment that may develop those things within the individual can be labeled as the psychosocial problems.
Okay, sir.
Whereas psychosocial well-being is the smooth interaction between or smooth connection between the individuals. As I talk, his thought process, his feelings are balanced in the well way, and that may lead the individual to the productivity, that may lead the individual to the happiness, is called the well-being. Now those things If we are not in the well position, we cannot do anything. Yeah, as I already mentioned that if the individual has the problem, he or she may has to feel difficulties. She may have the emotional dysregulation or some sort of problems they manifest from the various way. So to identify the people whether they have the psychosocial problem or not, we have to consider four aspects of the or four domain. One is physiological. If we feel more distress or something like that, we may manifest it from the physiological aspect. For example, burning sensation within our bodies, or tingling sensation, headache, dry mouth, something like that, or change in our heartbeat or respiratory system. Yeah. So these are or sometimes the individual may feel dizziness or something like that. So these are the aspect of the physiological aspect. Whereas another is cognitive or emotional. Some individual came to us with the complaint of forgetfulness, not able to concentrate on the particular things, or they are not able to regulate their emotion or something like that. Cognitive or emotional aspect. Whereas another is behavioral. Many people tend to develop the maladaptive behavior due to the psychosocial problems. They thought that if they engage themselves in the such a way, they develop the behavior that may help them to lessen their problems. But in fact, for the longer duration, it may have the some of the impact that could not be registered by them and their society as well as their family. So these are the three aspects. Whereas another is declination in the interpersonal relationship. If they tend to develop the psychosocial problems, their interpersonal relationship will be automatically decline. Especially in India, Nepal, or in the South Asian belt, people regard the person who develop the psychosocial problem and mental health problem in the negative way due to not having enough education about the psychosocial and mental health. So the challenge is to aware or create the education about the psychology and mental health to the layman people in our community. So these are the
Okay.
some of the aspects.
Okay.
Now
So
let's talk about the
is mental health different than psychosocial health? Psychosocial?
definitely mental health and psychosocial are the different. Psychosocial can be generally defined as the as the problem that has been displaying in the one aspect, as I mentioned, four domain or the aspect or the conceptual area, whereas the people who tend to develop the mental health problem may have problem in the multiple domain at the one at once. They may have the difficulty for the sleeping, they may have the maintaining the interpersonal relationship, they may have the severe type of problems more than in the mental health. Okay. So if we go in the mental health can be defined as the WHO define the mental health. It is the ability to cope with the different situation, to maintain the interpersonal relationship with the other, to become more productive in the society, family, and for the nation. In this way, and he or she, uh, to become a healthy, it is not only the necessary to become free from the any kind of physical illness. He or she should be spiritually balanced, religiously balanced. So all these component comes under the mental health. Whereas mental health if we are not able to properly regulate our psychosocial aspect of, if we are not able to cure the psychosocial aspect of our, we may tend to develop the different kind of mental illness. That is the gateway for any kind of mental illness. Psychosocial health is gateway for developing any kind of mental illness. We are not able to cure our psychosocial part, it may develop any kind of mental illness. So that may include anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, acute stress reaction, or more severe form of mental illnesses too. Sometimes people tend to develop more severe form of mental illnesses too, which can be labeled as the bipolar affective disorder, schizoaffective disorder, whereas the schizophrenia, mania, some like that. So, if we have to go on the etiology or causal factor of these things, we can categorize it in the most probably biopsychosocial factor, whereas the biological factor include the heredity. Most probably one of the cause is heredity. Another cause may be regarded as the dysregulation of the hormone that secrete within us, whereas the another is the dysregulation of neurotransmitter, whereas another is the some sort of chronic illnesses that develop within us that may lead us to the different kind of psychosocial problem or mental health problem. Whereas another
Okay, sir.
factor is
So,
the
yes,
please.
sir. So, how to differentiate whether the individual is suffering from psychosocial problem or the individual is having the mental problem? So, how can we differentiate the individual, whether it's a
Okay,
psychosocial problem
I
or
am
mental problem?
I will be coming later. We have some time, I think so. So one is biological factor, whereas another is psychological factor. Psychological factor may include different domain. That might be our childhood, how early childhood negative adverse effect. One is, another is our personality factor. That might be a psychological causal factor, whereas the learning can be put in the social factor as well as psychological factor, because there are various aspects whether learning can be categorized into the social factor or the psychological factor. If we go it in the traditional way, it can be categorized into the psychological factor, but recent studies has been done in whether it can be put in the social factor or something like that. Another factor may be regarded as our one personality trait or character that may lead the individual to the different kind of psychosocial factor. Whereas another, I am talking about the bio psychosocial model. I have finished up to the bio and psycho aspect. Whereas the social aspect may include the different kind of social situation, stigma, discrimination, how the society perceive us and how they react to us. That is another factor. Our financial situation, our social beliefs, social norms, social attitude, all these go on the social factor. So these three categories are mainly responsible for the developing of any psychosocial problem as well as mental health problem. As you asked that how can we label whether the individual is suffering from psychosocial or mental health problem, we should have to regard these now we have to go on the consequences. Before giving the answer to this one, I would like to go on the consequences of this problem. If we have to categorize the effect or the consequences of these problems, we may have to categorize it into the four categories. as I already mentioned it, physiological, emotional or cognitive, behavioral and interpersonal. If the individual is suffering from the psychosocial problems, they tend to show less severe kind of problems, whereas the individual suffering from the mental health problem may tend to develop severe kind of problem or severe kind of symptoms. One. Second, might be the individual who suffer from the psychosocial problems always have the insight level of awareness. What kind of problem happening to me? What might be the solution for this problem or something like that. Whereas the individual who develop the mental health problem may not have the level of awareness. May not have. Okay.
So
Whereas
it
the
means sir, it means they do not realize that they have problem. The mental,
may not,
the
may not,
okay,
may not. Okay. I am saying may not. Okay.
okay,
Third
okay,
one is third one is individual who have the who suffering from psychosocial problem may not have severe type of symptoms as I already mentioned, but the individual who develop the mental health problem may have severe type of symptoms which may include hallucination and delusion,
okay.
mental health. Okay,
So can you, sir,
whereas
kindly
the
differentiate? Can you kindly describe these two words, hallucination and
okay,
delusions, very
whereas
shortly, sir?
okay, delusion is the unshakable belief system in the client, which may not be in the rational to his familial, educational, social, cultural background, which may not be. It is beyond these things. This is the belief system. Okay, delusion is the belief system. Whereas the hallucination can be defined as the any perceptual abnormality that we perceive from our five sense organ, and that might be the abnormality in our perception process. That might be with stimulus and without stimulus. That means with object or without object that we perceive. That will be in the deteriorate form. If there is the object, we perceive that in the deteriorate form, or without any object, we may perceive that object, and that is threatening to the client, or that is harmful from his view. That might be the harmful to his familial or social, cultural, or something like that. Okay, so this.
Yes, sir. Thank
Whereas
you,
the
sir.
now
Yes.
if we have to go on the differentiation between the psychosocial problem and mental health problem, first line of management or the treatment for psychosocial problem is always a counseling.
Okay.
Always a counseling. First line of treatment for psychosocial problem is always a counseling. Whereas according to the severity in mental health, according to the severity, first line of treatment or management may differ. If it is more severe, more intense, the strength is very high in the client, that may need the medication to first line of treatment.
So, okay.
Okay.
So, if the individual has psychosocial problem or the mental health problem, so are there any particular name of those symptoms or those conditions, like you just told, depression or something else, like the name of
Yeah.
what? How can we name psychosocial problems, like maybe anxiety or something like that? And
No,
are there any
that is the
different terms to I mean to ask, are there any different terms to verify them or to tag them, the names of the problems, like what comes
okay.
under the
No,
psychosocial problem, what comes under
particularly
the mental health problem?
okay. The individual who may suffer from the long term domestic violence. Okay, they may tend to suffer from any kind of psychosocial problem. They may have the distress or something like that. Any, similarly, the individual who has another individual who is consuming alcohol or substance use or misuse may impact on the family. They may tend to develop the psychosocial problems. Similarly, those individuals who have the chronic illness at their home may have some sort of psychosocial problem. They always have the difficulties to maintain their social relationship, their jobs, or something like that. They tend to develop the psychosocial problem. Whereas the mental health problem is the somehow it is more chronic form than the psychosocial problems. As I already mentioned that they sometimes with severity, intensity, duration, and frequency is more higher than the psychosocial problems.
So, sir, like for example, depression, does it come under the psychosocial or it comes under the mental health problem? So that was the question, sir. Those kind of term, like,
Depression is the mental health condition.
okay. So
Depression, anxiety,
are there any
as I
particular name for psychosocial problems?
As I already mentioned, there is no particular labeling name or something like that.
Okay,
But
okay, sir.
while we are assessing the client, we should have to go on the codomain that I have already mentioned that, and if they have less impact or something like that, but although they are facing the problem, they are experiencing the problem, they have some sort of difficulty within them, and they are not able to express themselves in the family community, something like that, due to the different kind of stigmatization or the discrimination that we have been facing in especially in South Asian continent or the belt. That might be the
Okay, sir.
psychosocial problem. Yeah.
Okay,
So
sir.
yeah, so with this, as I already mentioned, that the treatment modality might be the first line of treatment modality for the psychosocial problem or less severe mental health problem is always the counseling.
Okay, sir.
Whereas the
Okay.
if there is the intensity, frequency, duration, and in mental health problem is there is more intense, more frequent, then they might tend to first start from the medication, and we will go after stabilizing their problem or developing them inside, we may carry on the counseling
Okay,
process.
sir. As a consultant, what would be your suggestions as you mentioned that, explain that psychosocial well-being is very important for us, and as of course it is. So, as a consultant, what would you suggest us to maintain the psychosocial well-being?
So, to maintain the psychosocial well-being, we must be careful about the self-caring techniques, because we are always in the rush, because it is the our life has become more complex due to the industrial era or something like that. We are engaging ourselves from the early morning to the late night in the professionally and in different areas, and we are always trying to regulate our lifestyle in the different way. But as a being a human beings, I think we will not always be able to maintain or balance our life. To maintain or balance our life, each individual need to focus on the self care. Yeah, one thing is, because we are always in the like riding horse in the professionalism, but
Yes,
that
sir.
does not count. So if we are able to balance our self-care technique or something like that, it will definitely help us to reduce our distress. It will help us to maintain our social relationship, familial relationship, and we will be able to manage all our domain accordingly. So it will be very easy us for to go ahead.
So, for example, if an individual realizes that the individual has some sort of problem, so what will be the major indications that the individual should visit to the consultant or the specialist? So, are there
Okay,
any?
uh, okay. As I already mentioned you, the first thing is to activate the family members to accept their problems and help them accordingly.
Okay,
Okay. Similarly, community, activating the community, individual, family, and community. Okay. Activating them and ask them for the support. If he or she get the support, many people can reduce their problem with those places. If they are
okay,
not able to reduce by activating individual, family, and their community, then they should visit to the professionals, counselor,
okay, sir.
psychologist, or mental health professional.
Okay, sir.
And
Um, yes,
uh,
sir.
I would like to say, with this, in the auspicious occasion of World Mental Health Day, I would like to say that, like other illness or other diseases, psychosocial problem and mental health problem can be cured, can be lessened. Okay, they can be they can contribute to their society. Those who recover from psychosocial problem and mental health problem can contribute to their family, can contribute to their community, can contribute to their society as well as nation. So
Yes, and sir,
we never
yes, they
has
can
to
raise the
be.
awareness also in the society.
Yeah. So they should always in the front line, and they must have to raise the awareness in their society, their locality, so that the people can understand about the psychosocial problem and mental health problem, and they can seek the help according to their need. So this will be my suggestion for them. This will be my suggestion for them. Hello, Prishma, are you there?
Can you hear me? So we are about to finish.
Okay, please. Okay, as when we have different kind of physical illness, we visit to the physician or medician or neurologist and go toward the society, and we show them the doctor prescribe me this medication or something like that. But when we are facing the psychosocial problem or mental health problem, we are not such a convenient. So we should have to change our attitude, so that
Okay, sir.
we can give the society, we can give the community a lesson. If you have the problem, try to solve from the familial aspect, activating the community or something like that, or the from individual perspective what they can do. If it cannot be lesson from those those body, then they can visit to the something like that, and don't feel any
Excuse
awkwardness
me, sir.
to
We are running
go.
out of time. We just have now one
Okay,
minute, sir.
okay. Okay. So,
Okay, thank you. Okay.
okay. Please go on, Prishma.
Yes, thank you, Anjan, sir, and thank you, Manhattan team, for this opportunity. It's over to you again. So thank you, everyone, sir.
Okay, I am very blissful and grateful to the Amazon team as well as distinguished who has believed to me and believed to my capability. Once again, I am very grateful and thankful to all entire team. Thank you very much.